teachers and counselors and library media specialists who are the best fit at Peak to Peak are the ones who are confident enough to make themselves vulnerable to one another, who are interested in learning and continuing to grow as professionals along the spectrum of mastery, who believe in the power of every student to grow and learn, regardless of what opportunities or challenges that student may bring with him or her. And the teachers who are a great fit at our school are the ones who open their doors and collaborate with one another and share their successes and share their struggles and look to one another and to the research to overcome the challenges that are inevitable in this career. So we were founded as a K-12 because our founders recognized that if we're truly going to backwards design an excellent education for kids, we want to be able to start from the beginning and go all the way to 12th grade. We want to know what the most highly selective colleges need and expect from their entry-level students, and we need to start in kindergarten to make sure that our kids are ready for that when the time comes. One of many advantages that we have as a K-12 is that we can agree on a taxonomy that can then be consistent throughout the K-12, whether it's around math or language arts or science or world language instruction. The students aren't constantly having to relearn something in order to access the curriculum every time they have a new teacher. There's consistency, coherence, and teachers don't have to spend an enormous amount of time orienting students to what learning looks like. They can pick up where the last teacher left off and keep going.
I didn't even really realize how what I do in my first grade classroom impacts students in middle school and high school and how they're preparing for their AP tests, and how what I did in my tiny little first grade classroom really manifested into learning throughout their education at Peak.
And because of my unique position in the K-12 environment, I have been able to look at what the middle school is doing, look at what the high school is doing, look at what our exit skills are for information literacy, and align that to how do we get from kindergarten to senior year. I love collaborating with teachers. It is one of my favorite things because I think it really helps me to get more in tune with what the kids are doing and just help support them more than when they do come into the library independent of a class.
One of the really cool collaborative opportunities that I'm excited about is working with the 8th grade English teachers to structure some collaborative grading opportunities. I teach all the 8th grade students in world history, but those 8th grade students have 3 different English teachers and therefore 3 different English skill sets. I want to hold them accountable for the maximum amount of English language proficiency that they've acquired, and that's hard when they're mixed across my classes. So I'm working with the 3 English teachers to create written assignments in history class on history topics that I grade for content and that are graded for writing proficiency by the students' individual English teachers. Our collaborative technology platforms allow us to do that, but really it's the willingness of the staff to sort of meet me halfway on these crazy ideas.
Collaborating with my K-12 colleagues has been probably the most inspiring and fulfilling part of my time here. So things that I didn't even know to dream about are now happening because of that K-12 collaboration, and that's been really exciting.
We take all that innovation from each level, and then on top of that, the power of aligning things vertically gives you the ability to see students for 13 years. How many teachers get to see students for 13 years? When we're making a hire here, a pretty exciting thing is we can customize what their development, their professional development, their goals and their needs look like here. So that gives us a lot of autonomy, a lot of flexibility, and again, ways to be innovative. We can structure professional development around the needs that they have, bringing out the best skills and attributes that they already have, leverage those skills to then help them grow themselves, but more importantly, their students.
When I got to Peak, I was super excited to be designing curriculum and getting to know my students, but my principal and my mentor were really great about making sure that I was also feeling stimulated and constantly sort of pushing myself to connect to my passion area while teaching Spanish. This year, I'm working with a group of about 16 teachers, and we meet regularly to discuss what implicit bias might we be bringing to the classrooms, what bias might exist in our school, just sort of really the topics that get me most excited. And we're using data from the club that I am sponsoring this year, the Latino Student Union. So I'm getting feedback from students, from teachers. We're hoping to bring parents in.
I feel really well supported by my administrative staff and my professional development team. My first year here, I asked to attend a technology conference, and my administrator supported me in that, made that opportunity available to me. From there, I have attended that same conference 3 more times now, presenting at each one. I've really made educational technology sort of a cornerstone of my professional development and also my classroom operations. The school and the staff have really supported me in that. I have lots of willing collaborators on the staff, and that goes even beyond the building, working with the high school staff, working with the LMC library staff.
So one of the advantages of being K-12 is that on our professional development days, when we meet in small groups, we may have representatives from all different levels and teaching different contents in different grades, talking about some of the same best practices and learning from one another. And what works really well to engage students in 4th grade might also really inform what works well in an 11th grade.
Having the opportunity for a K-12 discussion on that, hearing from the 3rd grade teacher and then hearing from the 11th grade teacher helps give me a perspective. It feels like I'm in class again. It feels like I'm having a discussion in a graduate level class, and so that opportunity to continue to extend my own learning is invaluable, I would say.
Just working with such a large and diverse population has really pushed me to be better at everything.
When we all know what the others are doing, we all get better. Every teacher who is good at anything has stolen from other great teachers that they've met in their career, and we have a really rich opportunity for that. We also have the opportunity for teachers to observe one another teaching, so that if I am a 9th grade English teacher, I can go spend some time watching a reading class or a math class in 1st or 2nd grade and get some great ideas and strategies for how I might better engage my own 9th graders.
Encouraging other teachers to come observe me has been awesome for me to not only reflect on my own best practices, but to help other teachers maybe find 1 or 2 things that might work for them in their own classrooms.
And that's really where we get the best educators we can find, and we build them and they stay.
So I was asked recently in an interview with a teaching candidate what one word I would use to describe the staff at Peak to Peak. And the word that instantly came to my mind was the word empowered. I think our teachers are particularly empowered to make the changes they need to make when they see the need for change, to do what's best for the kids that are right in front of them on any given day, and to be part of a solution when challenges present themselves.
Everything about working here makes me feel empowered to make decisions and take ownership of the space that I work in.
Teachers really are empowered to shape lessons that sing to their teaching style on a daily basis. This is about how do you capture the passion that you have for your content and then not just relay it but invite students in.
So one of the things that I've always appreciated here is the freedom to be reactive and responsive. No one ever questions my initiative or my intuition on, I found this new thing, I'm going to try it. My fellow teachers are incredibly willing to drop in, observe, give feedback when I'm piloting something new.
What I like about the environment at Peak to Peak is you're really allowed to explore and to create and to make the curriculum your own.
Building upon new ideas and fresh ideas are all part of the planning process, and it's really exciting to come up with a new idea, a new behavior management technique, perhaps a new text to use in the class, and be given the green light to see what works and see what doesn't.
We keep the good stuff and we scrap the bad and we move on, and everybody, students and teachers, just learn day to day from each other.